What if I told you that one of Manchester United's most mysterious signings was nearly smuggled out of football forever? That's right, Amad Diallo, the young prodigy who secured a £37 million move after just 4 professional matches, almost had his career end before it even began. But why? Because he was caught in a secret football trafficking ring, a system that pulls in 15,000 young players from West Africa every year and leaves most of them abandoned. But here's the twist: Amad was not just another victim. His story is one in a million, and it is filled with moments that will change the way you look at football forever. First, we will uncover the shocking truth about how a fake family and forged documents got him into Italy. Then, we will reveal why Manchester United bet millions on a player who had barely set foot on a professional pitch. And finally, we will expose how he went from forgotten benchwarmer to becoming one of United's most important players today. But before we dive into that, you need to know, this isn't just a story about football. It is a story about survival, deception, and the ruthless world of football trafficking. Let me show you how it all began. To understand how Amad Diallo became one of football's most controversial signings, we have to rewind back to 2002. Born in the middle of the Ivorian Civil War, Amad entered a world of chaos, destruction, and survival. Gunfire ripped through villages. Hospitals were overrun. Clean water was a luxury. Food was scarce. In this war-torn landscape, every single day a child survived was a miracle. But even in the darkest times, football was his escape. Amad and his brother spent every waking moment kicking a ball, dreaming of something bigger. And then, one day, their lives changed forever. A group of men approached his family. They whispered of a golden opportunity: Italy, a land where young talents became superstars, where dreams became reality. But here's what they did not say. These men were not scouts. They were traffickers, ruthless operators in a multi-million-pound underground network that lured young African players with false promises only to abandon them. And Amad? He was about to become one of their pawns. But how did they do it? And why was no one stopping them? Before we get to that, wait until you hear about the fake family that smuggled him into Europe. It is crazier than you think. Amad Diallo was not just smuggled into Europe, he was given a new identity. With the help of forged documents, an Ivorian man living in Italy, Hamd Mamadou Traoré, posed as his father. Why? Because of a legal loophole. Under European family reunification laws, children of legal residents can automatically join them, no questions asked. And just like that, Amad and his brother were inside Italy. No trials, no visa struggles, just a piece of paper and a lie. But let's be clear, this was not about football talent. It was about money. Most trafficked players never make it. They end up stranded, homeless, and forgotten. Their families go bankrupt paying for fake opportunities. But somehow, Amad defied the odds. Because even though his past was built on deception, his talent was real. At just 12 years old, he joined the small academy Boca Barco, and within months, he was already turning heads. But then came the Christmas miracle. A local Christmas tournament. Amad, the youngest player in the competition, outscored everyone. And suddenly, Serie A clubs started calling. And one club, Atalanta, would change his life forever. But what they did not know was that their new star had a secret past, and the truth was catching up to him. What happened next almost destroyed his career. By 2019, Amad Diallo was no longer just a promising kid, he was a phenomenon. At just 17 years old, he made his Serie A debut for Atalanta, and within minutes, he scored a brilliant goal. The youngest player to ever do it. A star was born. But while the football world was celebrating, Italian authorities were investigating. Because here is what nobody knew: Amad's entire journey to Italy was built on a lie. Fake family, forged documents, a secret trafficking ring exposed. And just like that, his career was hanging by a thread. Authorities uncovered the illegal network that had smuggled him into the country. Arrests were made. Cases were opened. And Amad, he faced the very real possibility of being banned from football forever. His dream was on the verge of collapsing. But somehow, against all odds, he escaped punishment. Why? Because he was just a child when it happened. Instead of facing legal consequences, Amad cooperated with the investigation, helping authorities expose the traffickers who had used him as a pawn. And as this chaos unfolded, something unbelievable happened. Out of nowhere, Manchester United came knocking. A £37 million transfer. After just 4 professional games. One of the most mysterious transfers in football history. But why would United bet so much money on a player with so little experience and so much controversy? Imagine this: you have played just 4 professional matches. You have spent more time on the training pitch than on the actual field. And then, Out of nowhere, Manchester United drops £37 million on you. Sounds insane, right? Well, that is exactly what happened to Amad Diallo. At just 18 years old, he became one of the most expensive teenage signings in United's history. But why? What did United see that others did not? Why did they outbid every other club for a player with barely 60 minutes of top-flight experience? And did they just make a huge mistake? Here is the truth. Manchester United were not just buying a player, they were betting on potential. Inside United scouting reports, Amad was described as one of the most gifted dribblers in Europe. Elite football IQ, sees passes before they happen. A generational winger with an ice-cold mentality. But here is where it gets even crazier. Amad was so unknown that even his future teammates had never heard of him. When United signed him in 2021, Marcus Rashford admitted, "I had no idea who he was." And yet, despite the hype, the money, and the expectations, his first years at Manchester United were an absolute disaster. Injuries, no playing time, forgotten on the bench, and just when it seemed like his career was slipping away, a miracle happened, because his next move would change everything. But first, wait until you hear how a last-minute transfer fail almost ruined it all. By 2021, Amad Diallo's Manchester United dream was turning into a nightmare. Barely any minutes, stuck on the bench, a £37 million signing completely forgotten. So United had a plan: send him out on loan. Give him time to develop. A deal was in place. Amad was set to join Feyenoord. But then, disaster struck. Injury. Deal collapsed. Another season wasted. At this point, even United fans were losing faith. Some started calling him a flop. And then, finally, a lifeline. Glasgow Rangers. In January 2022, Amad joined the Scottish Giants on loan. This was his chance, his moment, and it started like a dream. On his Rangers debut, he scored within 5 minutes. The fans went wild. It looked like he was about to explode onto the scene. But football is never that simple. Because as quickly as the hype came, it vanished. Amad struggled to adapt to the physicality of Scottish football. He was dropped for big matches, including the Europa League final. His confidence shattered. By the end of the season, he returned to Manchester with more questions than answers. Had United wasted their money? Was Amad just another overhyped youngster? That is when he made one decision that saved his career. He went to Sunderland. And what happened there? Nobody saw coming. By now, Amad Diallo had heard it all. Flop. Overrated. £37 million wasted. But instead of giving up, he made one decision that changed everything. He joined Sunderland. And from the moment he stepped onto the pitch, he was unstoppable. 14 goals, 4 assists, Championship Player of the Season contender. For the first time since arriving in England, Amad was playing with confidence. He was not just good, he was electric. Dribbles that sent defenders spinning. Goals from impossible angles. A leadership mentality beyond his years. Sunderland fans fell in love with him. And suddenly, Manchester United took notice. By the time he returned to Old Trafford, Amad was no longer just another lone player. He was a weapon. But just when it looked like his Manchester United career was back on track, everything changed. Erik ten Hag took over. And what did he do? He ignored Amad completely, kept him on the bench, prioritized out-of-form wingers instead. Once again, Amad was on the verge of leaving. Until one man changed everything. Ruben Amorim, the new Manchester United manager, immediately saw Amad's potential. But instead of playing him as a winger, he made a shocking decision. He turned Amad into a right wing-back. Fans were confused. Critics doubted him. But then, just 80 seconds into his first game, he delivered a stunning assist. A perfect tactical fit. Amorim's gamble had paid off. And now, Amad Diallo is not just surviving at Manchester United. He is thriving. He is a key player in Amorim's rebuild. And he is proving that he was worth every penny. After fake families, secret trafficking rings, and years of struggle, Amad Diallo has done what almost no one else could. He survived the system. And now, he is writing his own story. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and bell icon.